The grand conclave of the Xylar Dominion hung in absolute silence, a vast chamber carved from the heart of a dying star, its violet light casting long, skeletal shadows across the faces of the assembled dignitaries. Each representative, a pinnacle of their respective species within the Dominion, shifted uneasily on their crystalline thrones. The air, normally thick with the hum of psychic energy and political maneuvering, felt brittle, charged with an unspoken dread. For cycles, the whispers had been growing, rumors of a presence beyond the known galactic rim, a presence that defied all logical understanding. Now those whispers had coalesced into a screaming alarm, echoing across the hypernet, demanding an answer. Grand Arbiter Thrax, his chitinous form radiating an ancient authority, finally broke the silence. His voice, amplified by the chamber's intricate acoustics, resonated with the weight of countless decisions, countless wars. The reports are disturbing. Scout vessels dispatched to the Kepler 186F system have returned data that is, frankly, impossible to reconcile with existing cosmological models. The energy signatures, the planetary modifications, it all points to one terrifying conclusion. A pre-spacefaring civilization has achieved technological capabilities far exceeding our own, and has done so in complete isolation, evolving along a path we could never have predicted. He paused, allowing the implications of his words to sink into the collective consciousness of the conclave. This civilization, they call themselves humans. A murmur rippled through the assembly. The name itself felt dissonant, a crude, guttural sound that jarred against the polished smoothness of Xylar linguistic structures. The Xylar were an ancient race, one of the founding species of the Dominion. They had charted the stars, deciphered the secrets of hyperspace, and even dared to peer into the swirling chaos of the quantum realm. Yet this upstart species, barely a blip on the galactic timeline, had somehow achieved the unimaginable. Xylar Prime Executor Lyra, her bioluminescent patterns flickering with agitation, rose from her throne. Arbiter Thrax, with all due respect, I find these reports unbelievable. Our sensor arrays are the most advanced in the known galaxy. How could a pre-spacefaring civilization conceal such technological development from us for so long? It defies all logic. Thrax turned his multifaceted eyes towards Lyra, his expression unreadable. That, Prime Executor, is precisely what is so unsettling. They did not conceal anything. Their technology operates on principles we do not yet understand. It is as if they are invisible to our conventional methods of detection, cloaked not by artificial means, but by a fundamental difference in their understanding of reality. The implications were staggering. The Dominion, for all its power and technological prowess, was suddenly confronted with a civilization that existed outside its frame of reference. It was a humbling and terrifying prospect. Several other representatives voiced their concerns, their anxieties fueled by centuries of ingrained xenophobia and a deep-seated fear of the unknown. Some advocated for immediate containment, a quarantine zone to prevent any potential threat from spreading beyond the Kepler 186F system. Others argued for a more cautious approach, advocating for further reconnaissance and diplomatic overtures. Ambassador Vorlag, a towering draconian whose scales shimmered with an almost imperceptible heat, spoke with the measured tone of a seasoned diplomat. We must proceed with extreme caution. To underestimate this species would be a grave error. Their rapid technological advancement, their apparent isolation, these are not signs of weakness, but of a singular focus, a relentless drive. We must understand their motivations, their goals, before we make any rash decisions. Vorlag's words resonated with many in the chamber. The Draconians, with their long history of warfare and territorial expansion, understood the dangers of underestimating a potential adversary. They had learned, through bitter experience, that a seemingly inferior opponent could possess hidden strengths, unexpected capabilities. The debate raged for what felt like an eternity, the arguments and counterarguments swirling around the chamber like a tempest. Fear warred with curiosity, caution with aggression. Finally, Thrax raised his hand, silencing the cacophony. The decision is made. We will dispatch a diplomatic envoy to the Kepler 186F system. Ambassador Vorlag, you will lead the delegation. You are authorized to establish contact with the humans, to assess their intentions, and to determine the nature of their technological capabilities. But you will proceed with the utmost caution. Your primary objective is to gather information, not to provoke a conflict. The fate of the Dominion may very well depend on your success. Vorlag bowed his head in acknowledgement. The weight of the decision settled upon his broad shoulders. He knew that this mission was fraught with peril. He was stepping into the unknown, venturing into the territory of a species that defied all expectations. But he also knew that he had a duty to the Dominion, a duty to protect its citizens from any potential threat. He would carry out his mission to the best of his ability, even if it meant facing unimaginable dangers. As Vorlag prepared to embark on his journey, he couldn't shake the feeling that the fate of the galaxy was about to be irrevocably altered. The sleek, obsidian vessel, designated the Diplomat, sliced through the inky blackness of space, its shields shimmering with a faint blue light. Inside, Vorlag stood on the bridge, his reptilian eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the Kepler 186F system. The planet itself was a vibrant green and blue orb, a stark contrast to the sterile darkness that surrounded it. He felt a deep unease, a primal instinct warning him of hidden dangers. "Ambassador, we are approaching the designated point of entry," reported Commander Ryla, a young, ambitious Xylar officer who served as Vorlag's second-in-command. "Sensor readings remain anomalous. We are detecting energy signatures that do not conform to any known technological pattern." Vorlag nodded grimly. "Maintain a defensive posture, Commander. I want all weapon systems online and ready to fire at a moment's notice. But do not, under any circumstances, initiate hostilities unless absolutely necessary." The Diplomat decelerated as it approached the planet, its sensors probing the atmosphere for any signs of hostile intent. As they descended through the clouds, a breathtaking panorama unfolded before them. Vast cities stretched across the landscape, their structures defying gravity and architectural convention. Flying vehicles zipped through the air, their movements fluid and graceful. The scale of the civilization was staggering, far exceeding anything that Vorlag had anticipated. "Prepare the landing party," Vorlag ordered. "I want a full spectrum analysis of the atmosphere, the terrain, and the indigenous life forms. And keep a close watch for any signs of aggression." The landing party, comprised of Vorlag, Ryla, and several Draconian security officers, disembarked from the Diplomat and stepped onto the soil of Kepler 186F. The air was thick with the scent of vegetation and unfamiliar chemicals. The ground beneath their feet was surprisingly soft and springy. As they ventured further into the city, they were met with stares of curiosity and apprehension from the human inhabitants. The humans were unlike anything Vorlag had ever encountered. They were bipedal creatures with soft, fleshy bodies and relatively small heads. Their skin came in a variety of colors, ranging from pale white to deep brown. Their eyes, large and expressive, seemed to hold a depth of intelligence that belied their primitive appearance. As the Diplomat's landing party cautiously moved through the city, they drew the attention of the locals. It wasn't long before a delegation of humans approached the ship. They seemed wary but curious, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. Leading the group was a human female with piercing blue eyes and a calm, almost serene demeanor. She wore a simple, functional garment that seemed to be the standard attire of the city's inhabitants. "Greetings," Vorlag boomed, his voice echoing through the plaza. "I am Ambassador Vorlag, representative of the Xylar Dominion. We have come in peace." The human female stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. "Welcome, Ambassador Vorlag. I am Dr. Eris Thorn. I am a representative of the Global Governance Council. We have been expecting you." Vorlag raised an eyebrow in surprise. "Expecting us? How is that possible?" Dr. Thorn smiled enigmatically. "Let's just say we have our ways of knowing things. If you and your delegation will follow me, we can talk further in a more private and secure location." Vorlag cautiously agreed. He signaled his security team to stay alert as he followed Dr. Thorn. As they walked, Vorlag scanned the surrounding area, his sensors picking up subtle energy signatures that seemed to emanate from the city's infrastructure. He was beginning to realize that the humans were far more advanced than he had initially thought. As they entered a sleek, modern building, Dr. Thorn led Vorlag and his delegation to a large conference room. The room was sparsely furnished but technologically advanced, with holographic displays and advanced communication systems. "Please make yourselves comfortable," Dr. Thorn said, gesturing to the chairs. "Can I offer you refreshments?" Vorlag politely declined. "Thank you, but we have more pressing matters to discuss. We are here to learn about your civilization, your technology, and your intentions." Dr. Thorn nodded. "Of course, ask away. But before we begin, there is something you must understand. We are not a threat to you or to anyone else. We have no desire for conquest or expansion. We simply wish to live in peace and continue our research." Vorlag narrowed his eyes. "That is a noble sentiment, Dr. Thorn, but your technology, it is far beyond anything we have ever seen. How did you achieve such advancements in isolation?" Dr. Thorn smiled again, a knowing glint in her eyes. "We have been working on it for a very long time, Ambassador. You see, our history is much longer than you might think. We were not always confined to this planet. There was a time when humanity spanned across many star systems, and we had technology that would make your dominion look like children playing with toys. Vorlag was stunned. What? That's impossible. Where is that civilization now? How could it have vanished? Dr. Thorne's expression turned somber. It was lost in a great catastrophe, a war unlike any other, a war that nearly destroyed us. We were forced to retreat to this planet to rebuild our civilization from scratch. We buried our past, hid our technology, and resolved to never repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. Vorlag stared at Dr. Thorne, his mind reeling. He had come to this planet expecting to find a primitive civilization, but he had instead stumbled upon a secret that could shake the foundations of the galaxy. And now? Vorlag asked, his voice barely a whisper. What are your intentions now? Now we are ready to emerge from the shadows, Dr. Thorne said, her eyes filled with determination. We have learned from our mistakes. We are ready to share our knowledge and our technology with the rest of the galaxy, but only if they are willing to accept us as equals and learn to live in peace. Vorlag's mission had taken an unexpected turn. He had come to assess a potential threat, but he had found a lost civilization with a tragic past and a hopeful future. He knew that he had a responsibility to report his findings to the Dominion, but he also felt a sense of responsibility to the humans. He could see that they were sincere in their desire for peace. He knew that he had to convince the Dominion to give them a chance. Vorlag spent several more days on Kepler 186f, learning about human culture, technology, and history. He was constantly amazed by their ingenuity, their resilience, and their commitment to peace. He saw the potential for a great alliance, an alliance that could bring prosperity and stability to the entire galaxy. When it was time for him to leave, he felt a pang of sadness. He had grown to respect the humans, and he hoped that he would see them again soon. Upon his return to the Xylar Dominion, Vorlag was immediately summoned before the Grand Conclave. The atmosphere was even more tense than before, the air thick with anticipation. As Vorlag presented his report, the members of the conclave listened in stunned silence. They could not believe that a lost human civilization had not only survived, but had also developed technology that surpassed their own. The debate that followed was even more heated than before. Some still clung to their fears, arguing that the humans were too dangerous to be trusted. Others were more open to the idea of an alliance, recognizing the potential benefits of human technology and knowledge. Grand Arbiter Thrax, however, remained silent, his expression unreadable. Finally, after hours of debate, he raised his hand, silencing the assembly. "The decision has been made," he announced. "We will extend an invitation to the humans to join the Xylar Dominion as an allied species. We will offer them our protection, our resources, and our knowledge in exchange for their technology and their wisdom. This is a gamble, a risk that we must take if we are to ensure the survival of the Dominion in the face of the unknown dangers that lie ahead." Thrax paused, his gaze sweeping across the faces of the assembled dignitaries. "Ambassador Vorlag, you will return to Kepler 186f and deliver our invitation to the humans. You will assure them of our good intentions and our commitment to a peaceful and mutually beneficial alliance. The future of the Dominion and perhaps the future of the galaxy rests in your hands." Vorlag bowed his head in acknowledgement. He knew that this was a monumental task, but he was determined to succeed. He believed in the humans, and he believed in the potential for a great alliance. He would do everything in his power to make it a reality. As Vorlag prepared for his return journey to Kepler 186f, a new message arrived from a long-range sensor outpost on the edge of Dominion space, one that sent shivers down the spines of everyone present in the Grand Conclave. The message was brief, cryptic, and terrifying. "Unidentified object detected. Trajectory, galactic core. Estimated size, planetary. Origin, beyond known space. Signal detected, unknown language. Possible intention, hostile." The Grand Conclave fell into chaos. The threat of a lost human civilization was immediately superseded by an even greater threat, an unknown entity from beyond the galactic rim. The Xylar Dominion, and perhaps the entire galaxy, was facing an existential crisis. In the midst of the panic, Vorlag realized that the alliance with the humans was more important than ever. They were the only ones who might have the technology and the knowledge to help them face this new threat. Vorlag immediately contacted Dr. Thorne, informing her of the impending danger. Dr. Thorne listened intently, her expression growing increasingly grave. When Vorlag was finished, she spoke with a newfound urgency. "We know about this threat, Ambassador. We have been monitoring it for decades. It is an ancient enemy, an enemy that nearly destroyed our civilization once before. We call it the Voidbringer." Vorlag was stunned. "The Voidbringer, what is it?" "It is a living weapon," Dr. Thorne explained. a planet-sized construct designed to consume entire galaxies. It is driven by a malevolent intelligence, an intelligence that seeks to extinguish all life in the universe. How can we stop it? Vorlag asked, his voice filled with desperation. We have a plan, Dr. Thorne said. A plan that we have been working on for generations, but we need your help. We need the resources and the technology of the Xylar Dominion. Vorlag didn't hesitate. You have it, anything you need. Just tell me what to do. And so, an unlikely alliance was forged between the Xylar Dominion and the lost human civilization. Together, they pooled their resources, their technology, and their knowledge, and began to prepare for the coming battle against the Voidbringer. The humans revealed secrets of their past, technologies that had been dormant for centuries, weapons of unimaginable power. They had foreseen this moment, this threat, and had dedicated themselves to preparing for it. The Xylar, in turn, brought their understanding of interstellar warfare and their vast network of resources to bear, reinforcing planetary defenses, coordinating fleets, and mobilizing their citizens. The battle against the Voidbringer was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The combined forces of the Xylar Dominion and the human civilization clashed against the planet-sized construct, unleashing a storm of energy and destruction that threatened to tear the fabric of space-time. The humans, using their ancient technology, were able to penetrate the Voidbringer's defenses, exposing its vulnerable core. But the Voidbringer was a formidable opponent, adapting and evolving to counter their attacks. The fight raged for months, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. Many lives were lost, many worlds were destroyed. But the Alliance held strong, united by their shared commitment to survival. Finally, after a desperate and costly assault, the humans were able to deliver the final blow, detonating a powerful weapon within the Voidbringer's core. The construct shuddered, cracked, and then exploded in a blinding flash of light, its energy dissipating into the void. The galaxy was saved, but at a great cost. The Xylar Dominion and the human civilization had both suffered heavy losses, but they had also proven that even the most formidable enemy could be defeated through unity and cooperation. In the aftermath of the battle, the alliance between the Xylar Dominion and the human civilization grew stronger than ever. They shared their knowledge and their resources, working together to rebuild their shattered worlds and create a brighter future for the galaxy. The humans, with their advanced technology and their deep understanding of the universe, became invaluable allies to the Dominion, helping them to solve ancient mysteries and explore new frontiers. But the victory over the Voidbringer had also revealed a deeper truth, a truth that had been hidden for eons. As the Voidbringer disintegrated, it released a signal, a faint whisper that echoed across the cosmos. The signal was not in any known language, but the humans, with their ancient knowledge, were able to decipher it. The signal was a warning, a message from a long-lost civilization that had faced the Voidbringer countless ages ago. The message revealed that the Voidbringer was not a singular entity, but rather a weapon, a tool used by an even greater power, a power that lurked in the shadows, waiting for its opportunity to strike again. The humans and the Xylar Dominion now faced a new challenge, a challenge that threatened to dwarf even the Voidbringer. They knew that they had to prepare for the coming storm, to unite the galaxy against this unknown enemy. As they looked out at the stars, they knew that the fate of the universe rested in their hands. The alliance between the Xylar Dominion and the humans, forged in the fires of adversity, was now the galaxy's last hope. What they had found hidden in the lost colony had changed everything, and they were now responsible for facing the consequences. Their newfound unity was the shield against the darkness, the beacon of hope in the face of an existential threat far greater than they could have ever imagined. The true battle had just begun.